Yeah, I put on a nice shirt. I almost put a tie on.
I brought out the old school Discovery Bible Fellowship greeter shirt.
Wow.
I like the color.
Have you guys ever seen that logo?
Yeah, it's on our van.
So all of you came prior to Discovery Bible Fellowship, didn't you?
No.
Yes.
No?
I mean, after.
I think it was
prior.
just changing
Yeah,
when we first started.
Yeah, after. I was there. Like, I don't remember ever being called anything but Discovery.
Well,
I mean,
we always called it Discovery, but if
the
you do a search for Discovery, if church isn't in the word, it won't come out.
yeah, I've heard this. Also the logo is ugly. It's like this weird yellow and green.
Oh, it was terrible.
It's awful. Yeah. Now, I'm not a big orange fan, but it's definitely better. Definitely better.
All right.
Is that a complaint you get, like, from parishioners? Let's fix this logo, man. What's wrong with you? Nothing like that.
We got to redo the van. That's for sure. It's bad advertising.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Incorrect advertising.
You could sponsor this podcast. We could just put Full Quiver Collective magnet over the top of it.
There you go.
You guys gonna pitch in?
I love every episode. You guys are like, "Hey, if you guys want to sponsor our episode,
We'll love you. Yeah.
Has anybody ever reached out yet?
No, I don't know.
I'm surprised these coffee
after
shops
the last
haven't.
episode, I'm sure the Oklahoma Lottery is going to reach out."
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's this guy, Lucas? He's faithful.
I'm waiting
Faithful.
to win.
Except frustrating because he wouldn't fund our podcast. with the money.
I heard that.
Yeah. That's a little.
funny.
That's a little.
I don't play
frustrating.
anymore.
You stopped?
But
I was
Kayla,
like 8 in the hole, so I had to quit.
But
$8 in the hole, by the way.
Kayla started those, so it
Yeah, Caleb bought one.
comes out of the
Really.
same bank
Yeah.
account. I love it. I
Well,
love it.
You can buy them with a debit card now, which is a mistake for people.
Is this thing really done on an iPhone?
Yeah.
It really actually looks good.
Oh well, thank you for saying.
Man, these
actually.
microphones, like you get away from it.
Yeah, you got
You
it.
just really got to eat it, don't
You
you?
basically have to eat it, which is I don't know if
Just
you
eat
listened
it.
to our Did you listen to our first 2 podcasts?
Oh, yeah, it wasn't good.
Everybody's like, why do you have Anthony and Lucas turned down?
It's like,
I'm like,
Adam's here and the rest of you.
Because I'm the star.
rest of the story is.
My name is Adam. I'm the star of the podcast.
I just
That's
didn't.
why.
I just didn't want them to be really in it. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, good stuff. All right, you guys
Hey,
ready?
can I pray?
Yeah, man.
Let's pray.
We pray before every episode, so this is great. I think
Awesome.
we prayed the first
first
time.
one, the
We
first
prayed the
one we
first
did.
time. So,
Oh.
full disclosure. Full
I
disclosure.
really got to pray for you guys.
For sure.
No, really, I want to pray.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Jesus, today we're grateful for this life that you've given to us. Father, today you blessed us with your spirit inside of us, with breath in our lungs. And God, we thank you for your presence in our lives. Thank you for these brothers. They are an encouragement to me. They are encouragement to our church and our community. Father, I pray you bless our conversation. We do want to have fun. God, thank you for the joy of friendship. And we want our words to be able to glorify you. And we want our words to be a blessing to those that hear this podcast. So anoint it, Lord, for your glory in Jesus' name. And a brother said,
Amen. Yeah, I actually almost sent Lucas and Anthony a text and said we probably should pray before this one. I will say we started that way. And
that's
then,
great.
You know,
I've enjoyed them. This last one was pretty funny.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We went a little long. Got a little long-winded at the end, but
Those two talk way too much, don't they?
Well,
Ooh.
definitely more than Lucas.
Those
Yeah,
two.
that's for sure.
yes.
Yeah, definitely more than Lucas. All right. Well, how you guys doing?
So good. It's great to be on this podcast.
Man, I was going to
Yeah.
do a big introduction and be like, the shepherd to our flock, the man with the word, Mr. Scott French. So just to let everybody know that's listening, Scott is our pastor. So we've talked a little bit about how Lucas, Anthony, and I are in a small group. Well, the small group that we're a part of is part of Discovery Church here in Owasso, and Scott is our shepherd. He is our pastor.
He's a man.
He's the man.
I brought out an old school Discovery Bible Fellowship greeter shirt.
I love it.
This is prior to the renaming of Discovery Church. Discovery Bible Fellowship. It's so 90s, isn't it?
Yeah.
The name changed in like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is an old school
Like
shirt.
right before COVID.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we changed our name. It's gonna be awesome. Wah, wah,
It was
wah.
just to get better Google searches.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that. That's great. Well, so we have Scott here today. We just want to get to know him. But first, Scott is going to join us in a top 3 conversation.
I love it.
And because Scott likes comedies, especially inappropriate one. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Never.
Never, of course. We're going to run through our top comedy movies of all time. You could take this either way. You could say the greatest comedies ever, or this like personal preference, which I assume we all went with. So
Totally perfect. Personal preference.
yeah,
here.
because mine are on no one's list. I guarantee it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got some honorable mentions because I think these may be some of yours.
Lucas loves. As a matter of fact, Lucas wanted to call this top 10. And
No.
we all-
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
top 3 for me, then like top 12 for them. So it is what it is.
I
Dude,
minimize
by the way,
the.
I'm loving you. You sport the Niners hat all the time.
I haven't. Yeah,
I love
how
it.
many hats do you have? Niners hats.
6, 7.
Oh, easy.
That's not. Yeah.
I was gonna represent Buffalo Bills gear,
The Bills.
and then I realized all I have is hoodies, sweatshirts, and pullovers,
Makes sense.
and it's 100 degrees.
Well,
so
that doesn't stop Lucas though. I mean, he rolls up in here in hoodies still.
in
Yeah.
the winter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
for
in the
sure.
winter. I think you've been here in the summer even.
no way.
Hoodie and shorts.
Yeah.
Thank you for AC right now, though.
Yeah, I got it cranked down. It's it's still kind of warm in here, but I apologize. Yeah,
Cooler
be good.
cooler than outside.
it's definitely cooler than outside for sure. All right. Well, how we usually do this is we'll go bottom 1 and work our way to the top. I know Scott listens to all the podcasts, so I'm just kind of explaining it for no reason.
It's
But
true.
We'll start with
Loving this.
Lucas. We'll hit Mr. French, and then myself, and then we'll let Anthony wrap it.
So I think we have notes. I'm not sure if they do notes, but I mean, you're all digital there. I'm paper pencil.
I got notes right in front of my face.
That's true.
Why you calling me out?
All right, number 3. I'm a kind of a big John Candy fan. So this one is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes,
You and my dad.
that is
like-
is
I'm old.
part of
That-
my top 3.
That's a
Is
great
it really?
one.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Knuckles.
That's a great
There
one.
you go.
That is. That's a good one. Good one for sure.
I like it.
I like that. I like that. And he is a very funny guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
There's so many comments I have right now about that movie.
You can
Love
let
it.
him rip. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever celebrated the F-bomb in a movie.
Yeah. You just laugh.
There's yes, I felt every single one of those.
It seems validated. Like you,
Oh, yeah.
you can.
Even
say
my
it.
wife was like,
Uh huh.
"Yep."
Yep. Totally. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
Props to you, Rondi. All right, do I go next?
Yep.
Yeah,
All
you're
right,
on.
number 3 is Mrs. Doubtfire, 1993. Robin Williams.
Good.
Oh,
That's a
that's a
good
good
one.
chuckle right there.
That is a good, funny movie.
I watched
like
part of that last night. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Is that a? Can we? Is that a? We can show that to kids. I think. I didn't even think about that one.
I mean,
yeah.
there's
It had
some
yeah, go ahead.
lifestyle alternatives represented in the movie, but it's not.
But then it was funny. Now it's just a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good time.
I love
Good time.
Mrs. Doubtfire when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he shoves his face in the cake and yeah, I love that.
He's getting in trouble and they have the animals in the house and he's like, "Honey, you better watch out. That pony had a lot of water."
All right, so my number 3 is a great family get together comedy, Step Brothers. Like just get the kids in the room, pop some popcorn.
I don't think I've seen it.
No.
But you're jesting, right?
I am jesting.
Okay.
I drip with sarcasm pretty often.
Pray for the Harvick family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I do. I do find it funny. I've probably watched it more than I should have.
I mean, it's pretty hilarious.
It is, and I'm
No
just,
doubt.
I'm trying to be honest. I didn't want to cater to pastor visit, so I'm going Step Brothers.
Funny.
Step Brothers.
So funny story. You guys have to ask Mike Benson about this.
okay.
He commissioned a woman in Owasso to do a hand painting of his father's 2 dogs.
Okay.
And legitimately, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. The dogs are side by side in an exact representation of the Step Brothers
Okay.
picture.
I love it. I
With-
love it.
Perfect.
With the sweater
Sweater
vests,
vests and everything?
The dogs are in sweater vests.
I love it. I love it.
It's the funniest thing.
Now you just need to watch the movie.
Oh, it's awesome. So he's got pictures. You've got to see this thing.
All right, you got it. And Mike Benson is going to be upset that you're on this before him.
Yeah, he
Is
probably
that-
will
Have
be.
you already
No.
told him?
He understands the pecking order.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, we can tell him just to make sure, but yeah, no, that's good.
I
That's good.
jest, Mike.
Yeah, I do not.
We'll have you on soon, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you won't be left out.
All right, man.
My number 3, baseball theme, right? Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn, Major League.
Yeah.
Love it. It's funny.
This was in another list for you.
I know it was. What was it? I don't. Sports movies, probably.
You can't get away from it.
Isn't this Sheen?
Yeah.
He's in it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Funny.
Star from the California Penal League.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shirts and sleeves in this thing.
Great
Great.
hair. Great haircut. Great haircut. All right. Number 2.
All right, number
Lucas.
2 is one we kept going back to, like the video store, to Rent and Rent, Dumb and Dumber, mid-90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's classic.
Gotta love
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty
That's
good.
a classic. Top
Yeah.
3.
Is that on your top 3
comedy
too?
movie.
It's not my top 3, but it's hilarious. There's some lines in there that are just eternally classic.
My favorite line is when he takes off his extra pair of gloves.
This whole time.
When he's like, my hands are freezing. And he's like, well, here, you can use my extra pair of
Yes.
gloves. It's like,
Are they on the mini bike?
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
no.
know
This is when they're at the park and then he starts choking.
Oh yeah, they're at the
Oh,
fire
yeah.
pit. They're on
He
the
goes
fire
choking
pit.
him out.
And he goes, Harry, your hands are freezing.
Lloyd
Lloyd.
Christmas. I mean,
Lloyd
who comes up with this
It's
stuff?
the best. It's the best. All right.
Or the time he just says he's got to pee. He's like, Harry,
Just let it
Harry,
go.
just
Just
let it go.
let it go,
And they're
dude.
frozen to each other.
I love when they're driving on the mini bike and they're just driving and they think they're going to Colorado and they end up in Kansas. And he
Nebraska or
walks,
whatever,
he
yeah.
looks around and goes, man, that John Denver is just full of
I was about to say, I got
Yeah.
a beat. We can do it. Yeah.
oh,
It'll be
hilarious
fun.
line. All right,
it.
do I go next?
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 2, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Classic.
Yeah.
My hands are between 2 pillows. Funniest line ever.
Yep.
Those
Yep.
are not pillows.
They're not pillows. Yep.
The train line's funny too, right? The people train doesn't run through Wichita anymore. Isn't that planes, trains, and automobiles?
Yeah,
It
it's
probably
similar to
is.
that.
It
Yeah.
Something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love when they're driving down the highway after the deer is in the thing and they spin around. These people are driving with them the same direction, but on the other side of the highway, they're going, you're going the wrong way. He's like, how do they know where we're
Yeah,
going?
when they're doing the drinking sign to him.
Was the airport they were in Wichita? Is that right?
Chicago.
No.
Oh, the main guy's from Chicago.
Didn't they hit him? Didn't they hit a?
Yeah, I flew him from Chicago, supposed to go like New York or New York to Chicago, and he ends up in Wichita.
Yeah, it's like a Wichita airport
Yeah.
kind of conversation.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of funny. All right, my number 2, and I can watch this if I could watch this over and over. I really, really like this movie. And I think you could watch this with the kids for the most part. Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yes.
I'm a big fan. I am a big fan.
Eat your dang
Yeah.
quesadilla.
Yeah. Come on, Tina. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love
Uncle
it.
Rico.
Uncle Rico. I bet you I could throw this football over that mountain.
He throws that steak and hits Kid right in the head, knocks him off a bike. I love that.
But
That's
the
best.
dance scene is
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Some nice Jamiroquai music.
So
What
good.
year? What did that come out?
Oh, man.
I was still in
Early-
high school.
Early
It was-
2000s?
Yeah,
early.
Yeah.
2002,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Great, dry, funny.
I was
love
a
it.
youth pastor at the time, and there was a kid in our youth group that saw it 24 times.
At the movie theater.
Yes.
Wow.
He's like, this is the greatest movie ever.
Pedro for president.
Yeah.
I love
Think
it.
how much money
Love
he
it.
spent on that.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
the
the
kid.
kid.
Oh, I thought the budget for the movie. I was like, I think they just got.
Yeah, the budget for the
Idaho, yeah.
movie. Video
awesome.
camcorder.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
No actors.
That was a great. That was a great movie. All right.
Number
All right,
2.
am I up? All right, number 2 is This Is 40. Have you ever seen that?
Yep, that's good.
This
That's a
is
good
Jason
movie.
Segel.
Yeah,
I think it's yeah,
I'm a Paul Rudd fan.
yeah,
He's funny.
yeah. He's funny.
that's-
So it's about kids and marriage issues as you're approaching 40, which it's about me. All of us except for you.
Yeah.
Scott.
I just
I've
hit
got
the
that in my rear view mirror.
Yeah.
I took it in stride.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah,
I thought it was
It
funny.
didn't really bother me, but I like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie's
I mean,
funny.
I
That's
get it
good.
now as your kids get older. Like one of the funny scenes is when the kids are driving, the dad crazy, and he's like, "I've got to go to the bathroom," and then the mom comes and looks for him because he's been in the bathroom for like an hour, and she's like, "I don't smell any poop in here. What are you doing?" No, I pre-flush. It doesn't even. I didn't see any poop. It doesn't stink in here. He's in there on his iPad, just getting away from the craziness.
He's playing games on his iPad, Candy Crush. That is funny.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
funny.
All right, Lucas.
All right, my number 1 is
Wait,
one.
drum roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a professional drummer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do it. It'd be
Yeah.
more like duh, 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 duh.
One I can still watch when it's on TV. It's Tommy Boy.
Yep,
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Classic.
Yeah.
it
Yep,
is.
it's classic.
It
Yeah,
makes
that's
you laugh.
awesome.
Definitely
great.
makes you laugh. Yep. that's a
Quit
good one.
playing with your dinghy.
Yep. Yep. the bees, all the bees. Oh, yeah, that's good, man.
That's the one
good
where he
stuff.
goes, fat guy and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gets smacked across with a 2x4 in the face.
Yep.
He's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't. It kind of hurts
No,
here, not so
yeah.
much here. No, it looks good.
He goes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. All right, Mr. French,
All
number
right.
one.
drum roll. Nacho Libre.
Okay,
Mm.
yep.
Jack Black.
I'm a fan. Yep.
So funny.
Yep. Ignacio. Yep.
And you know what? My son-in-law, before he asked my daughter to marry,
We would
I
have a
found
better
out-
podcast, I guarantee.
I found out his favorite movie was Nacho Libre, and internally I was like,
Yep.
done. This kid's gonna be
Yep.
my future son-in-law.
You have my blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I baptize you.
Yeah. How about you? Yeah.
Stretchy pants.
Became a luchador. Also,
Oh gosh.
definitely in the vein of Napoleon, right? Like, I mean, it has the dude Pedro's in it. It just is dry, funny. That's great. Man.
It's just,
That's a
but
good
it's
one.
classic
It is
Jack
classic.
Black.
Yeah, he's great.
He is great.
All right, my number one, Rushmore.
Rushmore.
Crickets.
You ever heard of it?
I think so.
Mm.
They have a mountain called Rushmore.
It's not that. Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman as a young man. It's a Wes Anderson joint, which means it is going to be very slow and dry, but I really like that movie. It makes me laugh. I think it's awesome. Check it out.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at it.
Yeah, you have to watch it. You have to watch it.
Maybe
Rushmore.
not. Sure. If I see it on Netflix sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's probably on that new thing called Freebie or whatever it's
Tubi.
called.
Because nobody else watches
With
it.
commercials.
It's on Tubi. They don't
Tubi.
even put commercials on it.
Oh, they don't?
It's that bad. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's like late 90s. Bill Murray's super funny.
Hey, as
I love
long
it.
as you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
I agree.
And the other 10 people.
Yeah. I can't wait for Kayla to give me a hard time, but I do like that one.
She's never heard of that either, I promise.
She's texting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys need to wrap this up.
All right.
Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
All right.
All right, here we go.
All right. Number one, Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, you know another one that's probably gets thrown in the holiday category that's really funny is Elf. That's a funny movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Elf.
thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's definitely a runner-up.
Yeah, that's a good funny
Honorable
movie.
But I,
mention.
I
Hear
have
that-
to reserve that as a favorite Christmas movie.
I know,
So I
yeah.
mean, it's definitely a comedy, but
I'm a Christmas Vacation fan. That's a funny movie. That is a funny movie. What I would imagine, I feel Christmas is like that a lot actually. So yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Especially the family and
Oh yeah.
all that.
Oh, yeah.
I've got an honorable mention.
Yeah, we love
And
it.
I think
Here we go.
I think
Here
you
we
guys
go.
know this, but it really dates me. Monty Python's Holy
Oh,
Grail.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a funny movie.
Yes.
Yep.
It's one of those movies though. You watch it the first time, you go,
Uh-huh.
"That's kind of dumb."
Yeah.
But the second, third, fourth time, it just
Yeah.
gets better.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's good. It is good. It's not on my top list, but it's a funny movie
Pink Panther,
for sure.
the first Steve Martin one.
Yeah. Oh, you mean so like not the old ones? Like,
The old ones are funny.
The old ones are pretty funny. I haven't seen the Steve Martin ones. I am a Steve Martin fan though. I do like him.
How about Steve Carell in Get Smart?
Yeah, that's good. That is funny.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think The Rock's in that too.
The Rock is in
The
there.
Rock.
Yeah, that's a funny movie. That is a funny movie.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, now there's no good transition here other than comedy, but
Comedy.
we want to get to know Mr. Scott French here, and I think people would enjoy that. Our 15 listeners might really get a kick out of
15.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've seen you guys. You've solid 30 and 40 views on YouTube.
Maybe total for all 7 videos.
I'm probably watched each of them 20 times.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That, yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, just
I just lied.
Hey, maybe we'll
Just
get
a-
more listeners at our church after this episode.
just a horrible.
This is why you're really on here.
Yeah.
yeah. Just a
Just
horrible
saying.
plug for ourselves. That YouTube is where we need you to kind of go find us. That's the good one.
Subscribe.
That's right.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Like.
There's gonna
And
be
watch.
there's gonna be a button right here on the. Nah, I don't know how to do that, but you can still subscribe below.
Yeah.
So yeah, we appreciate that.
If anybody wants to be an IT guru for us, let us know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
you guys stepped up your game big time. Yeah, with all the mics and all this.
Yeah. So you know the sad thing is we had all of this except the table, the first go. Like we were ready to
really?
go. We just weren't real good.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
But now we're spectacular.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Before long,
Yeah.
we're gonna have Kittle on to interview him. So Lucas is
I'm working on it.
That's right, working on it. We're gonna
He's
buy
not
him.
ready.
As in
Returning
the
my
tight
calls.
end from
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah, he's not returning my calls right now, but
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we
Okay.
buy when we buy
we
Oklahoma.
might as well get Trey Lance now. He's not doing anything.
I heard that.
when we buy Oklahoma,
Win the
things will
lottery
change.
and buy Oklahoma
Things will
and
change.
rename it to North Texas.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We don't want to rehash through that, though.
That's so
We don't want to
funny.
rehash through that. So, well, here so we know we've established this guy is a pastor of our church that we go to, and I'm going to throw out this first question to you, and I think we've all heard a little bit about your background and
Yeah.
how you came to faith, and so that's not what I'm going to focus on. The other guys might have some questions around that, but I'd like to know, when did you feel the call to step into ministry, and then maybe even take it a step further and very specifically to lead a church, because that definitely is
Oh,
a
yeah.
specific call.
Yeah. Those were two different things for me.
Sure.
The first time I had the sense of a call into some sort of vocational ministry, I believe I was a senior in high school, and I was invited by our pastor to go on a mission trip to the United Kingdom. And so this is the church that I was saved in. I put faith in Christ. I was born again. They knew my testimony, and I was part of the worship team, and they wanted me to come along because they got invitations to go into these British high schools, and they were open to us sharing faith. But they knew it would be better if there was an actual teenager talking to teenagers.
Sure.
So I started sharing my story and sharing the gospel with all these students in British high schools, and just speaking my story and the version of the gospel that I knew, and not that it was the wrong version, but it wasn't, lots of theological depth, and
Sure.
kids were responding. And responding, giving their faith, their life to Christ. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is probably one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. And got a lot of feedback from my pastor and those with us. And I thought, I would love to do this with my life. And but at the time, I was a drummer, and I was in love with rock and roll and punk music, and I wanted to be a rock and roll star. I honestly wanted my picture on every 14-year-old girl's locker in high school.
I'm gonna mark off one of my questions.
So I had this conflict of ministry, rock and roll, and
Can you sing too, or just drum?
no,
Can you do-
I don't sing very
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah. So I actually ended up doing both at one point in my life. But I went to college to study music, but the whole time I was studying theology and ministry, and knew God had a call for vocational ministry. And so I became a youth pastor. That was my first introduction to ministry. I taught Bible at a high school and became a youth pastor. And then along the way, you know what they do, the senior pastors on Thanksgiving and New Year's and 4th of July, they don't want to preach, so they give it to the youth pastor.
Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Yeah. And so I'd fill those spots and just got a lot of affirmation from it. So much so that the lead pastor's like, I don't think I'm going to have you preach anymore. I mean, he was being facetious, but I got a lot of affirmation, and I thought, I think I can do this. And then went back to school, and the rest is history. I got my MDiv and started, my first pastorate.
It's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah.
So
Still doing it.
Still doing it.
Still doing
Yeah.
it. That's
I got a late start with the whole lead pastor thing. I really regret that. I didn't have the confidence to think that I could fill that spot. So I kept doing youth ministry and worship ministry and youth ministry, but, better late than never.
One follow-up question there. And so I think and this probably speaks to a lot of people. And man, I had a hard time with even given affirmation to have confidence to follow through with that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And so that's pretty cool that you were, God obviously worked on you for that, and that's great. But I've always struggled with that. Like even And even to this day, it's something that is like there's hesitation, if that makes sense. Like, oh, man, is this real? Yeah.
I will say the earlier that you feel a call in your life, and the earlier you can respond to that in your life, I wouldn't say the easier it is, but once you start a family, marriage, children, mortgage, car payments, there's a lot to lose there in the sense of going into ministry and all that stuff. I've talked to so many men in particular that said, man, I kind of thought I was supposed to go in the ministry, be a missionary, be a pastor, but it was just, so hard to step away from my career, all that stuff. So it can be hard.
And then mine was more of me, man, I'm not worthy, right? Like, and I think that was a big one for me. And I do think back on that. And man, it speaks to having we talked about with this kids on Wednesday night, surrounding yourself with the right people that build you up and speak into you positivity and help you identify your gifts. And really just mentorship, man. It's a discipleship, right? That's what we're talking about. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. No, that's great. I love it. All right. Lucas is over there. He's ready.
I got a bunch of questions for you.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite TV show that you ever binge watched?
Favorite TV show binged watch? Without a bunch of thought, there was the show. Fringe. Yeah.
Fringe?
Fringe.
A Fringe.
Yeah,
It's sort of
There we go.
sci-fi.
narcissistic
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Fringe.
I got you.
There
It's
you
called
go.
Fringe. Yeah. You ever heard of it?
I have not heard of it.
Fringe. Yeah. It was kind of sci-fi thing, but it was pretty good. Yeah.
There you go.
Interesting.
My wife and I also like Castle and Madam Secretary.
Okay. Those are both pretty good.
Yeah.
I could watch those.
All right.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love geopolitic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Conspiracies and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
I like that.
good
That
stuff.
was good. That was good.
They don't get very political on
Yeah.
this podcast with
Well-
me, so I got to
Oh,
contain all
we're
that.
waiting for the primaries, dude. We don't want to. We don't want to.
It's always political season.
Yeah. Okay. So punk music.
Yeah.
What was your
Not
what-
straight up punk,
Like
but
a
sort of a
Is there a mainstream?
alternative new wave. Like my favorite bands are U2, The Police, The Clash,
Gotcha.
Echo and the Bunnymen, Psychedelic Furs,
Yes.
Modern English.
Yeah.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Oh yeah, I know.
I-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You
I
start
kind of,
singing songs, I know.
I was
The
about to say,
bands, I'm like, eh.
I assume we know it. Probably like early '90s through mid.
Oh, 80s.
Oh, yeah, he's
We're
80s.
talking
Okay.
late 70s, 80s. Clash came 78, U2 78, Police 78.
Well, yeah.
1978, what a year.
What a year.
I wasn't around. I don't
Neither
know.
was I.
I wasn't either.
I was.
You were? Yeah, I got you. I got you. You have more hair than I do, so that's
Mm.
you still got that going for you. That's good.
Here,
Awesome.
I'm curious. Does
Yep.
so as much as you preach and stuff, do you ever get nervous still
Yeah.
when you're up there preaching or on stage?
When I get nervous prior to,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I step on the stage, it just dissipates.
Yep.
One of the things that I've really thanked the Lord for is in my heart, one of the greatest ways that I connect with the Lord is worship, particularly through music, because I am a musician. My first love in life since I was 2 and 3 years old, like literally, I've been playing drums since I was 3. My first love is music and all kinds of music. And there's something that happens in my soul that I can get lost in exalting Jesus during the worship time. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to go preach.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can carry that onto the stage of just, I'm one of everybody in the room just wanting to enjoy Jesus. And that's where I come from. But there are moments like, oh, I've got to preach. Okay, what am I going to say? I got it all. Okay,
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
was just curious because you can be. It's even Adam's experience too, right? Because we teach in the youth, and
Yeah.
it can even be nerve wracking too. I'm like, man, why am I so nervous? I'm just talking to a bunch of kids, and sometimes I get into that mindset. Maybe I'm not. This isn't cut out for me, right? Or you start doubting yourself because I'm like, well, I shouldn't be nervous. Then you start saying, well, does everybody else get nervous? And I think the answer is, I think it's
Absolutely.
common. Everybody gets nervous on.
Man, there's
when
some
you have
weight.
to teach or talk in front of
Yeah,
a
and there's
bigger
some weight
people.
to what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
not talking about, the football
Comedy
game.
movies.
Yeah, in the comedy movies, there's some literal weight
Yeah.
to what you're doing,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is impactful. And you want to carry that forward in the right way, and I think
Yeah.
it's natural for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think you want to ask him, since you just touched the nervousness. Do you want to ask him the question that we were kicking around?
Oh,
You want?
yeah. How should I ask this? Most embarrassing moment, maybe on stage. Like we were talking.
Very clear.
Okay.
Like I don't even have to think about it. I've talked about this,
I love it.
and it's embarrassing. Yeah, like mixed company on this podcast. Just bear with me here, ladies in the room.
We've already gone down that road a few times,
So-
so you're fine.
I'm a high school chaplain at Metro Christian Academy. This is between 1993 and 97. I spoke regularly in the chapel services to middle school and high school kids, so 7th through 12th grade. We're coming towards Easter, and I want to preach a message that is a bit apologetic in the sense of trying to make sure that we can actually think logically and rationally about the resurrection as a proof that Jesus is who he said he was. There are reasons to actually believe that the resurrection happened. So I have this sort of opening thesis statement for my message, and it was supposed to go like this. The cornerstone of Christianity is Christ's resurrection. But I didn't say that.
Do tell.
The cornerstone of Christianity is Christ's. I left out the res part.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes.
To high school and middle school kids?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Cornerstone of Christianity is Christ's.
That's awesome. Can we just say erection? Because that's
You said it.
yeah.
So it comes out of my
Yeah.
mouth, but I don't really realize that I say it. But if you've been talking on stage, there are times where you're in real time, you're saying certain words, but you can hear what you said like 2 seconds ago. And I'm talking and I go, I think I just said erection.
Did you look down there and be like,
Not only
oh,
did I say that word, I said Christ's.
Yeah. Yeah, you put some holiness to
And
it.
I keep going and I look, and the superintendent of schools, very proper man, godly man, but very proper, is red-faced, beet red, and doing one of these like laughing so hard he's trying to keep it in.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
good. Yeah.
That's good. That's
And
good.
then
Yeah,
all of a sudden, people just couldn't contain themselves. They started busting out laughing to the point where like coaches were on their knees
yeah.
slapping the chair.
Man, that was way better than I could have ever
Yeah,
imagined.
right. No
I was
kidding.
thinking
I
like,
tried to wrangle it back.
yeah,
It was so bad
yeah, yeah,
that I asked the kid who was leading worship to come back on stage
yeah.
and sing a song. He couldn't even
yeah.
lead a song.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
So I'm like, forget it. Go back.
He
I
can't-
tried to continue.
Yeah,
We literally had to shut the chapel service down.
that's so great.
Now, here's the thing. My wife, Rondi, worked at Metro. She was the varsity girls basketball coach,
Oh, that's awesome.
Coach French. By the time chapel got out and I'm started walking down the hallway, it already got to her. You would not believe what your husband just said. So I turn right out of the chapel and I see down the hall her standing there going, like her head's bowed going, oh my God, you have just embarrassed me,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, not yourself, me.
Yeah. So
I was thinking maybe you just left your fly down, the old barn door open.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
nothing
That's-
compared to
yeah.
that.
No, you've set a bar.
there's
like-
Cornerstone of Christianity.
Or
Yeah.
there's noises coming back there. It's like, man, who put the whoopee cushion back there? I
yeah,
don't know.
no, that's great. Yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
That's funny.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
that's a fabulous story.
I didn't expect
Should
that
just
story.
end with that right
yeah,
there.
I
Just
don't. We don't
done.
need. We need nothing else. I appreciate you sharing.
Glad
that. That
I
was
could
great.
deliver.
So is it fair to assume that dream job, or if you were not a pastor, drummer or a musician of some kind, would that be what you would have pursued?
I did pursue it for 3 years, but to be honest with you, it's a grueling
Sure.
career.
You toured.
I toured.
Oh,
It's grueling, and to the point where it wasn't worth it to me.
Okay. No
Yeah.
fun.
So other than that, I would, if I wasn't pastoring, I would be speaking, teaching,
Yeah.
educating, inspiring in some way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What could I ask? What bands did you tour with?
I was
Korn?
with a Christian artist named Daryl Evans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Back in the late 90s.
Doesn't
One
ring
of
a
the
bell.
biggest songs he had was called Yes, Lord.
I've heard that.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm trading my sorrows. That's the name of the song, Trading My Sorrows.
Yep. Yep. That'll be in my head for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
catchy. It's good. That's cool. That's cool. Good deal.
You guys go ahead. Ask a question.
You have all kinds of questions.
No,
Go ahead, Lucas.
I don't have questions. You guys are like deep questions. I thought we were supposed to be like light and funny. You guys are like,
Bring it. It's firing range,
All
man.
right.
Bring
well,
it.
Let's. I would like this to be funny, but I'm not sure it will. But what are typical questions people ask you when they find out you're a pastor?
Oh,
good one.
typical questions. Lately, it goes to end times,
Okay. Okay.
Mark of the Beast, 666, the Antichrist, Russia, China.
Okay.
What do you think about all that? You know, if I'm getting my hair cut, I have two responses. So, you've been working today? Yeah, I've been writing my message. I'm a pastor, and I've been writing my sermon and blah, blah, blah. And it's either they just open up, life story, or they just shut down. It's like, yeah, this guy is not going to approve of me and my lifestyle, so I'm just not going to
Not
say
gonna
much.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And
Sure.
I try to pull those people out
Of course.
and have conversations, ask questions of them, and,
Yeah.
you know, make them feel at ease.
Is there something that you wish people would ask that they do not when they find out? And maybe not specifically like, hey, how do I get to heaven? Maybe not that. Or, you know, how do I be saved? Is there anything that you wish they would ask you about that you could talk about that you would enjoy?
I love telling my story.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love trying to find an aspect of my story that maybe connects with them in some way,
Sure.
and talk about that and how Christ just radically intervened in my life. Yeah, I a question, or they can open the door in some way where you can bring it up.
Yeah. Like, how did you become a pastor? Well, how brought you to
Or
Oklahoma?
why
Yeah.
would you become a pastor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
what brought you to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I like that.
And all
I
that
think
stuff.
personal stories are more inspiring, right, than just saying, okay, here's the message of the gospel, but this is how that message actually translated in my life,
Yeah.
you know, and people can relate to that more, right?
Yeah. They don't, if you just start delivering ideas and theology and Bible verses and all that, they really feel like you're talking at them.
Yep.
When you start sharing your personal story, your personal life, they feel like you're talking with them. You're engaging with them. So that's the best way, because you can bring in all the gospel and all the truth with your story. Yeah.
100%. Yep, 100%. I'm a big believer in that in almost every circle of life. Like even in my job, it's so much easier to connect with people, figure out some way that we have a connection before we start talking about how to help them become better leaders or how we're going to adjust their team or whatever the case, right? If you just come in hot, it never seems to go as well.
Yeah.
And when you make a personal connection, people open up. So, yep. That's an obvious thing for sure. I love that. That's good. It's good.
You got something?
I'd say I have plenty, but they're like,
We
they're
want
like
fun too,
level
man.
one questions.
Let's go.
All
Fun.
Go
right.
for it.
So other than Jesus, what character from the Bible are you going to talk to first in heaven?
Joseph.
Which one? His dad or Old Testament Joseph?
Multicolored.
Oh, yeah, right. No, Old Testament child of Jacob, Joseph,
There you
who
go.
was sold into slavery, who had just the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The most unfair, worst thing that it could happen to a human being over and over. And the story of redemption there is amazing.
Yep.
Clearly, a young man who had God's hand was on him, had dreams and visions, but he was clearly talented. He was prophetic, but he was an administrator, organizer, and his talent just rose him to the top over and over again. And he was uncompromising. And he really, out of vengeance, he could have destroyed Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly could have destroyed Israel, but single-handedly, obviously with the power of God, saved the family and nation of Israel. Amazing story.
It is. Yeah.
And for generations, even the Pharaoh of Egypt honored and remembered Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a generation of pharaohs that forgot Joseph, and that's how they got into the brutality that they did. Yeah, Joseph.
Yep.
And then there's David. Man, David, what a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones for sure, man. I like that, Joseph. Yeah, probably don't hear that very often. It's good. It's good. Well, what? So this is a person you want to talk to outside of Jesus, of course. We gotta clarify. That was
Well,
obvious.
everyone
In,
just
in
go
the
straight
Bible,
to
you
Jesus.
said, right?
Yeah,
No,
in
in
the
the
Yeah,
Bible.
yeah, yeah. In the Bible. In the Bible.
Well, let's stay in maybe that vein a little bit. Who in your life is a big influence? That's one in your life, like physical, in your life that you know, speak to. Who's a big influence there, and then to follow that, who is someone that's a big influence, or people that are big influences you've never met?
Ooh, like that.
Yeah.
So there are people that have been a major influence in my life that are no longer with us from a young age. I had a girlfriend in high school whose dad took me in. Part of my story is my father died when I was 7. Hardly ever knew him at all. I was, single mom, didn't have a dad. He was the first man I ever knew that modeled godliness and being a father and very practical things of like how to be a man. John Ferguson, awesome man. I obviously don't get to talk to him anymore. And I've got a couple of friends that I talk to, and one friend is probably, other than my family, the person I've known the longest in my entire life. We've been friends since middle school.
Oh, yeah.
And I
That's
talk to him about once or twice a month, and he's one of those guys that we're blue sky thinkers, and we just let it go and just think and dream and what if. And I mean, we can talk about everything from cosmology and physics to Buffalo Bills to burgers to
Full Quiver
I mean,
Collective podcast.
all of it. And it's awesome. And he's such an encouragement to me. Another friend who's a pastor in Texas, and Keller, Texas.
I like Texas.
Yeah.
It's well documented.
But there's some men who've been a major influence in my life that I've never met. I call them mentors, honestly.
Sure.
One of them, we've shared emails together. His name is Sam Storms. Sam is a theologian, an author, a pastor of a church in Oklahoma City called Bridgeway.
Yeah.
He's actually no longer the lead pastor. He's sort of pastor emeritus. One of the most brilliant theological minds I've ever read. Another man is John Piper.
Big fan.
Desiring
of
God was one of those books that completely shifted my paradigm in my head. Another man is Francis Chan.
Okay. Yeah.
Francis, I think, sort of through the airwaves, and I've seen him speak at conferences. Somehow his anointing of weeping and crying was bestowed on me.
Yeah.
Like every time you see Francis Chan speak, he just weeps.
Yeah, he's got the voice that is like, it just kind of draws you in, right? Like it's
Yeah.
raspy, and then the passion is just dripping on
Yep.
him. It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
and his commitment to radical obedience, regardless of the cost.
Yep.
I don't know him personally, so I don't, behind the scenes, but it would be hard for me to imagine that that's not just totally authentic.
Who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's genuine. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Piper for sure is someone that's a big influence in my life.
Yeah, I love his Facebook because he puts out different reads just that really kind of hit home. Like every week, I feel like it's something. A lot of it's focused on men too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
marriages and stuff like that. So I love Francis Chan too. We've done a lot of his small group studies, and they're fantastic.
Forgotten God book, Crazy
Yeah.
Love book, and his letters to the church. It's full on. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's prophetic. So I dare you to read his book, Letters to the Church. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Heard it here first, everybody. Double dog dare.
Yeah.
So if
get
Paul
into
was
it.
still writing letters, you think America would be getting one? I just thought of that question when you were talking about letters.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like it.
It would probably be between Corinthians and Galatians or something. Man, he would smack us up one side or the other. Yeah. Yeah. So
All right, here's my next question. How do you decompress your own soul because I mean everybody seems like they need you, right? You're always on the go, visiting people, talking to people, listening to other people's problems. So when do you take time for yourself to just kind of regroup?
yeah.
And how do you do that? What's that look like?
Yeah, there's a healthy way to do that, and there's unhealthy ways to do that. I'll just go right to the unhealthy ways to do that. I can veg to Netflix and all that stuff for hours. I mean, I can just completely ignore my wife, ignore the world, and just go episode after episode. YouTube videos. That's unhealthy. Like I'm not against, binging a few episodes here and there, but I'm actually trying to not just decompress. I'm trying to ignore
Escape.
the
Yep.
world
Yeah, escape.
and my relationships and actually ignore what's going on inside. So the healthiest way for me to decompress, a couple ways, is to literally be still and be quiet. Very difficult for me. I'm an extrovert. I just love activity. I just love doing and being and all that stuff. Just to be quiet in contemplation and prayer. It sounds very monk-ish, but that's actually where I got it from. To be still before the Lord. Psalm 37:7 says, be still and wait patiently for the Lord. Even when you're not looking for an answer, the thing that I need more than anything to decompress is the presence of God. And sometimes you just have to wait. Lord, I just want to wait. I just want to know your presence. Some of the other things is I really enjoy physical activity. I love going on walks. I love going on hikes. I love going on bike rides. I have this thing with working out. I lift weights and use the machines and all that kind of stuff. And I know I should. I'm getting older. I've got to build my muscle mass and increase my metabolism. But it just, you sit in a room with all these machines and it's so uninspiring. But I go down to the Riverside by the Gathering Place. I walk around the Gathering Place and that whole thing down there, and it's like, I love it.
Yep.
I love it. And there's a trail west of Sand Springs called the Keystone Ancient Forest. And it literally is an ancient forest. Trees in there from 300 to 500 years old.
Wow.
They have amazing trails in there. Rondi and I go out through those trails, and some of the hikes will take us 2+ hours. It's great. And sometimes we talk and talk and talk, and then 30 minutes of just not talking at all.
Can you ride bikes on those trails?
Good. I don't see any bikes on the trails. No, I'm not much of a trail rider. We talked
Good to
about
know.
this.
It's good to know.
I
Yeah,
get on my
good to know.
bike and I go on those paved,
Yeah, sure.
bike
That's
trails.
fun too. That's fun too. No, that's great. That's a good question.
It's not as exciting though, huh?
Yeah.
Not
I used to
quite.
love golf. I haven't played golf in a year. I don't know what it is. It's the time and the money and all
That's
that.
Yeah.
it's the two
You got to
big-
get a tee
time.
time.
it's two big value systems right there. That is
Like if
sucking it
I
right
want
out
to
of you.
just go for a walk, I can just go for a walk.
Yeah. Didn't take you 4 hours.
Yeah. So
Didn't have to, at least.
yeah.
For sure. What would you go back and tell your younger self as you're answering this call? Like, what wisdom would you impart now that you've done it? How long? How many years have we done this?
Pastoring
Yep,
in some form, 27 years.
27 years. So if you went back 27 years, what wisdom have you gained? Like what would be the one thing that you might tell your younger self, or maybe someone that came to you and said, "Hey, I feel the call. Do you have any advice or wisdom for me?"
I think the thing that really comes to my mind first is I wish I would have been a much more serious student of the Bible.
Sure. Yeah.
Look, I took all the Bible classes, Old Testament, New Testament, Pauline letters, the Gospels, but I really didn't take being a student of the Bible seriously, and I didn't take my passion and gifting for teaching the Bible, preaching the Bible, and actually discipling people in Scripture serious enough. And so I would tell my younger self, pour yourself into the Scriptures for your own soul. Memorize it, read it, meditate on it, but learn everything you can about teaching it. And not just teaching the Bible to people. There's a difference. But teaching people the Bible.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
there are people who just want to teach the Bible. But I want to make sure I'm connecting with people that they're actually getting it. So yeah.
Yeah,
Be
I
a
love it.
serious student of the Word of God.
It's good. It's good. I like that. I feel like I have those conversations with my kids a lot. Like, man, I know you don't get this right now,
Yeah.
but if you could just make this a habit, if you could pour into this, I wish that when I was 14 and 16 that I made it an important part of my life instead of basketball and girls and, you know, you go down the list, right? Like, yeah, I was in church and my parents were great, grandparents great legacy there, but it just, I didn't make it super important. And I think, yeah, for sure, that would be, awesome. I mean, what a head start, right? Because it's truly all that matters.
Yeah.
Nothing else does.
Look at my case. I really hadn't even read the Bible till 4 years ago.
That's amazing.
I know. It's crazy.
4 years ago.
I love
think,
it.
something like that.
I love
so
your
I
story.
I felt like, you know, everybody else was like, man, I feel embarrassed here. Like I don't know anything. Like I'm like, none of these stories people are talking about. We talk about Joseph and the fiery furnace. I'm like, man, never heard of him. 30 years old. Never heard of those. I don't know. I know a guy named Jesus. I've heard of a guy named Paul. I don't know anything about him, but that's kind of it. Heard of Genesis, right?
And the sad thing too is, you learn those big stories, and man, there's a lot of people who've been in church for a long time, and they don't know much more, right?
Yeah.
And that's a bummer for sure.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff for sure. I definitely want to ask a goofy question, and maybe even, I don't know, and maybe we don't have to talk about present day because it could be implicating, but
I love the
What?
preface to the question.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Basically, you're saying, Scott, careful.
careful here, buddy.
Don't step in it.
Yeah, what was, and I really want this to be a lighthearted thing more than like, man, I really messed up or I did this wrong. It was more of like, what was some silly thing that maybe you did as an early minister that you were chastised over, maybe a congregant or like kind of, you know, gave you a hard time, and it was probably really silly, but you kind of were like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, outside of the slip up at chapel, that's an obvious. You should not do that.
There's a ton of them as a youth pastor.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them.
Yep.
So we did. You know, you're always trying to do games and activities that
Don't get me started,
set
Scott.
the kids off, right? They just, oh, this is so cool. This is so fun. This is awesome. We're doing it to promote an event or just doing it to begin the night. One time, we were promoting a Tulsa-based mission that was focused on the homeless and the hungry. And to promote it, I did a hot dog eating contest with hundreds of hot dogs that kids were just eating and then throwing up and basically using food as a meaningless joke while people are starving.
It probably didn't sit well.
No.
Didn't
So I
ring
had parents
true.
and elders and people like, we get you're trying to have fun, but do you see the disconnect here?
Yeah. This is not a good look,
Yeah.
Mr. French. Yeah, I love
so
it. That's
I
a good one.
I got called on the carpet. And then one time we were doing a weekend retreat, and this retreat, they offered paintball,
Okay.
right? But it was really expensive to do their paintball with the guns and the ammo and all that kind of stuff. So I worked out a deal that we could use their course for free if we brought all of our own stuff. And instead of buying and bringing all the guns, I bought a bunch of slingshots.
Okay.
Those slingshots that are
yeah.
like heavy duty.
But
Yeah.
does
They
it
have the
work?
brace
Did that
on the-
work? Did that work?
Here's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
If you fully extend a slingshot with a paintball, the speed of the paintball is like 3 times faster than a gun.
Ooh.
It's lethal. So to promote this,
So
I
great.
stood 2 high school students against the wall in our youth room, and I had another kid with a slingshot, and these kids were bare-chested.
Oh.
And I told them, and I put goggles, I'm like, take a paintball to the chest. Boom. Both of them, instant broken skin, blood. They're on their knees crying. Send me to the emergency room.
Well, I guess so. What we've seen in our youth group now is nothing compared to this. So yeah, we're good.
I had no idea that these slingshots are actually
You
lethal.
can kill animals with them. I know that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can buy like little.
This is all
ball
like
bearing.
before Google, so
Yeah.
you know.
How do you
right?
know? It's
Gosh.
trial and error at that point.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
There's probably a story about you on Google.
But we are looking for sponsors, slingshot manufacturer out there. Whatever you
my
would like
gosh.
to do. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
I had
did-
angry parents on that one.
I can imagine. Probably from those two kids. Yeah.
You didn't get
Probably-
banned either, huh?
No.
Oh,
And there's
good.
like I can think of like a half a dozen more. It's terrible.
No, that's good. I love it. I love it.
I guess a youth pastor, you're just automatic get out of jail free card, right? You just say, I'm just a youth pastor. We're just trying to have fun. I didn't know.
I almost got fired 3 times.
Learning experiences.
Yeah.
Opportunities is what we call that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, opportunities. Is there anything? Well, gosh, man, this was probably. Never mind. I'm not going to ask it. I'm not going to ask it. I'll refrain. I'll refrain.
Take that one back.
Yeah, I'll take it back. I will say, Scott did bring us a gift, which was nice. So, any future guests we have on, this is the bar. We have Winto Green mints,
Lifesavers.
which we are looking for a sponsor. This is
It's a gospel-oriented candy.
Yeah, yeah, they're tasty.
Lifesavers.
I just like the way they feel when you crunch them.
Yeah,
It's
they're
awesome.
delicious.
Yeah, they are delicious. Thank you for that. All right, boys, you got anything else for Mr. Scott?
We're good.
You're
We're
good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I didn't get
Think
any
so.
Buffalo Bills questions. I'm a little disappointed.
Oh.
Because
Well,
I'm a Cowboys fan.
It always ends the same way with a loss. So
Yeah. So like, I don't know if you want to go down
No.
that road with us.
I'm totally used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
our teams haven't won like in 30 years either. So
Well, yeah, but you've been to a championship game. We haven't even been to
worse.
that. Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
So
No, I don't
close,
think
but
so.
so far.
I don't think so,
Mhm.
man. Would you take never making it to an AFC championship game for 30 years or going and losing the championship game a few
I'd
times?
take going every time.
Yeah, like, come on, Lucas. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?
I want to go as far as I
Yeah.
possibly can. I'd rather get to the dance and put your best effort and then lose than never get there.
we've been in the. When I say we, because I'm part of the organization, right? In the final
Soon enough,
4
part
or
owner.
higher 6 times in 12 years and haven't won. That's pretty frustrating.
I'd take it.
It's bad.
We haven't been.
It's frustrating.
We have not been to that since '95.
Yeah.
And we are the most overhyped team. And I say we because, well, I don't know why, but it's my team. But
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be parity with the finances, but really, the Cowboys, there isn't a reason why they shouldn't get whatever players they want to get. People want to play for
The
Dallas.
star.
yeah,
The Bills are getting a new stadium, though, right?
They are
That'll help.
$1.6 billion, which is not even close to the
That's
the
how much-
SoFi thing.
Mhm.
that's how much Oklahoma is going to cost.
But the state of New York ponied up like, I guess, $1 billion of that.
Whoa,
It's ridiculous.
sounds like a deal Jerry made.
Are they putting a dome on it?
No,
No, it's
What?
football.
No
It's
dome.
not,
They won't do that up there, man.
No, dude.
Crazy.
It's part of the whole culture.
That's why they have
That's why people have a little few loose screws up there.
That's
huh?
why they have to drink so much before the game.
They got
Yeah,
a-
to numb
They got
it.
a lot of loose screws. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's fun.
That's cold.
Here,
the mafia.
you want to check this out. My daughter Bailey and I, Bailey, moved to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Guess who plays Philadelphia
Ooh.
the weekend of Thanksgiving in
Oh.
Philadelphia?
you going?
The Buffalo Bills.
Don't wear
So,
their colors.
No.
Me
we're-
and Bailey
We're green.
are going to the Eagles stadium to watch Buffalo.
The link.
And my friend from Buffalo said, seriously, I'm not kidding. You have to do me this. Do not wear Bills gear.
You
Nope.
can't. You
Can't.
cannot.
Don't do it.
I know.
Because they have a jail in the stadium
Yes,
because people
their fans are
get
awful.
arrested. Attempted murder.
Hey, we'll
They're
we'll take sponsors, Philadelphia folk, but you guys are awful fans. You're
they're
awful
bad.
fans.
So
Bad,
I'm going to
bad,
buy
bad.
a hoodie that says Jesus loves you and wear that.
That's smart.
They might not like that. They booed Santa Claus.
They
Yeah.
did.
I
But
mean, it's
Jesus
bad.
ain't Santa Claus.
That's true.
Hey, if they beat me up for Jesus, I'm
you go.
good with that.
You're
There you
like,
go.
But
you're Paul
I'm
at
not
that
getting
point.
beat up for Josh Allen. Sorry, Josh. If you're watching this, love you, bro, but I'm not taking punches for you.
Yeah, I would just be careful. I know
Mhm.
someone that's gone as a Cowboys fan, which probably is worse.
That's worse.
It's worse. Like wearing an Emmitt Smith jersey and like had something hard hit him in the head. Yeah, they don't know what it was, but yeah. Like,
People are crazy, man. Just like
Yeah.
that one guy. Remember in baseball, the Giants fan in L.A. got beat up. I don't remember if he died or not.
yeah,
but
he did
I
die.
forgot
Yeah,
about
did he?
that,
He was
yeah.
a L.A. Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
It's so bad, man.
It's crazy.
People are nuts, man.
Over
Alcohol,
sport.
spirit, that is not the right spirit, man. Not the right
Yep.
spirit. Well, hey, Scott, we really enjoyed this.
I enjoy it too.
We might have
Hey,
to have you on again.
I want to encourage you guys.
Yeah,
I,
please.
I enjoy your podcast.
Thank you.
But seriously, keep it up. You're doing a great job. Keep it going.
We will, man. We're this is our future plan. Like not retirement. It's
Podcast.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're going to all quit our jobs to be
Yeah, that's
professional
right. That's right.
podcasters.
No, we really do
Hey,
appreciate you being
Lucas,
here.
keep buying
Yeah.
those scratch tickets, man.
Yeah, man.
I can't. I don't buy scratchers. Okay.
What you said? Only $100 a week. I think is what you said.
No.
That's all
100
you spend.
$100 in my life.
$100 a week.
He's-
I think
$100 a
that's
week.
what he said.
He's
a week.
very clear about no scratchers.
I'm a school teacher. I don't even make $100
I
a
heard.
week.
I heard you buy $100 of scratchers
don't
every
they?
week.
Don't they give the lottery money back to the school
Yeah.
system? So
Hey,
it's
we
like
won't we won't tell Kayla you're spending all that money on lottery
Yes, I
tickets. It's okay.
she's doing it too. All right, boys. I appreciate it. That was awesome.
All right.
We'll have to have you again, Scott.
Okay.
See y'all later.